Welcome to the Be North Gippy podcast for round 3 of the North Gippsland Football Netball League. And what a weekend it promises to be. We've got ANZAC Day games. We've got some big clashes. We've got a lot to get through, and to help me do that is my co-host from Sports Stream Live, the big fellow, Matty Mosley. Welcome.
Hello, Brad. How are you going?
Mate, I'm fantastic. I'm sure you are, and all rested up and ready to go after the last weekend's Good Friday game out there at Yarram. It was a beauty, and it was a very warm day, Matthew.
It was very, very warm, but I think it might be a little different this Friday night.
Yes, one thing it will definitely will be dark. So
yes.
That will be interesting in itself. So we've got a fair bit to get through, so we might get underway.
Yep.
We possibly really should touch on round 2 because it was over a split round and it was a week apart. So a lot of people would have forgotten the results. There's been changes in the leading goal kickers. We'll go through the tips. We'll go through everything. And going all the way back to Saturday the 12th of April, it was Rosedale that took on Woodside in the first game of round 2, and Rosedale went down by 27 points, 9-8-62 to Woodside 12-17-89. Goal kickers for Rosedale, Spencer Fox and Declan Barnett got 2, and best were McConnell, Spencer Fox and Harper Fox. And for Woodside, Zach Richards helped himself to 4, and he was named best along with Jeremy Morgan and Josh Morgan. Zach Richards goes along his merry way. He's had a good start to the season for the reigning premier.
Yeah, definitely. Michael O'Sullivan, though, a bit quieter than he was the round 1 against TTU.
Yeah, he was. He's would he kick 5 or 6 in that first game? Didn't he, against TTU that we called, and he kept them in the game actually.
Yeah, I think he kicked 4 of those in about 10 minutes.
That's right. Hey, the other game that we actually covered on that Saturday was Churchill and Cowar, and Churchill ran out winners. That was the big prime train game. 21-17, 143. 10-goal winners over Cowar, 11-17, 83. And Bolsh. Now, they've listed him as 5. I'm pretty sure I had him as 6. But anyway.
Yeah, I reckon he did kick 6 too.
Yeah. So I'm going to keep him with 6. And Skinner 4 in his 150th. And best for Churchill were Bliswick, the coach Joe Wykes, and Fennick. And for Cowar, Hughes got 3. Could have kicked 10. And best were Paulette, Hector, and Hughes. And just going back to that game, surprised a few, not only winning, but to win by that much, Matty.
Churchill looks super on the day. I'm not sold yet on Churchill where they're at. Obviously, the week before they played Hayfield and got spanked, and then they put on an absolute blinder against Cowar. Be interesting to see how they go in round 3.
Yeah, that will be interesting because you're right. I'm not sold yet, but gee, I'll tell you what I am sold on. They're going to win more games than what people thought at the start of the year, that's for sure.
Yeah, and I actually totally agree with you. They're actually not a bad side. Their kids are good. They've got a nice young ruckman in there. He was super on the day, Bliswick. He was down from Bairnsdale way, I think, if that was correct.
That's right, yep.
Yeah, so he's a good footballer as well. They're going to have their days, but yeah, they definitely win more games than they lose, I think. Anyway, they'll be around that mid-table, but they definitely won't be down near the bottom.
Possibly the pick of the games of that round was Sale City 9-9-63 at home. They went down to Hayfield by 16 points, 12-7-79, and for Sale City, Carstairs, Allison and Reid all got 2, and their best were Allison, McCulloch and Evans. And for Hayfield, Sheen into the side, got himself 4 and Graham 3, and the best were Hole, Wheeler and Humphreys. And I'm sure Hayfield would have welcomed Sheen in, and that's a very multi-talented forward line.
It's also a very big forward line. I'd love to see how that's going to work as the season progresses. Brown in there, Sheen as well. There's only one footy that can go into the forward 50. Yeah,
it will be interesting. I'm going to sneak out there on Saturday and have a bit of look at them. We'll talk more about that later. Now, their big one on that day, massive win. Yallourn North, 40-15. That's pretty good kicking. 40-15, 255. Run out 235-point winners over Gormandale, 3-2-20. The coach, Dean McDonald, helped himself to 11, Climo 6 and Reese 4. and the best were Brown, Massese and McDonald. Named third best kicking 11, Matty. I know you're a big key forward. How would you have gone in your day if you got named third best after helping yourself to 11?
Well, I've kicked 9 before and I didn't get in the best, so it's not unexpected. But from all accounts, those 3 guys that were in the best, they all had over 35 touches.
Yeah. And someone's got to get it to him, don't they?
That's exactly right. So he had he just did the finishing off. All the boys up in the midfield did all the hard work.
And for Gormandale, Cropley, on debut, the young fella, got himself 2 of their 3 goals. On debut, what an effort that was. Best were Crimhan, Jenkins and Said. So Gormandale are in for a long year, that's obvious. Yallourn North, it's going to be interesting to see where they're actually at, and I reckon we'll find out this week because they had the bye in round 1 and then they faced Gormandale, but as I say, this week they face the top side in Hayfield, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah, definitely. I like Yallourn North, though. I think they're going to be a very hard team to beat. Yep.
And Yarram, the game we called on Good Friday, on a very warm day out there at Yarram, 17-16, 118, 38-point winners over Glengarry, 13-80. Swift got himself 6 for Yarram and Pierce 3, and best were Ben Vardy, Griffiths and Ben Matten. And Glengarry goals were Mitchell 4 and Burgess 3, the captain, and best were Mitchell, Williams and Harris. Now, it takes us to the leading goal kickers, and I know you've got a pretty good stat for us on the equal leader, so we'll just go through that, and then you can give us a stat on Josh Swift. Josh Swift from Yarram on 11, with Dean McDonald from Yallourn North on 11. Then there's Keenan Hughes from Cowar on 10, Kyle Graham from Hayfield on 9, and Lee Brown from Hayfield on 8. That's the top 5 goal kickers. Josh Swift, he's been around goals a very long time, Matty.
He has. I reckon he's played majority of his footy at Yarram. He had a bit of time in other clubs around the old Alberton League at MDU, but he's kicked over 1,000 goals in 350 matches, which is, I think, arguably one of the highest in Gippsland. I think Dean McDonald would be the only one close, or maybe at the 1,000 as well. But he'd have to go down as one of the greats in Gippsland by those stats.
Yeah, he's had a good start to the season, 5 in round 1 and 6 in round 2, and be interesting to see how he goes this week up against a really good side over at Woodside. But they're the leading goal kickers. They're the results from back in round 2 that was over a split round from Saturday the 12th and then Friday the following on the 18th on the Good Friday game. So it takes us to the ladder, which I don't reckon it means too much at this time. You've got buys, you've got a game, there's been a draw and there's been a game called off prior to half time, so they both get 2 points due to an injury. So the ladders, but we'll quickly go through it. And I've got to touch on third place Yallourn North's percentage. I know that's massive. Unbelievable. Hayfield on top from Yarram, Yallourn North in third spot, Woodside fourth and TTU fifth. So that makes up the 5. But Yallourn North in third spot, 4 points. They had bye in round 1. They win their second game. Their percentage, Matty, 1,275.
It's going to be hard to keep that percentage up that high for that long, isn't it?
Oh, my God. Outside the 5, Churchill in 6th position, followed by Sale City, Rosedale, Glengarry, Gormandale and Cowar. And the reason Gormandale's above Cowar, they did get 2 points from the game early in this round 1 against Sale City that was called off prior to half-time. So they get 2 points.
It's not the only 2 points they get for the year.
Yes, yeah. So they've got the drawn game and a loss. So that sits Cowar bottom, who have had 2 losses and haven't registered a win as yet. And it brings us in to round 3 and kicking us off on ANZAC Day, Friday night. The big Sports Stream live stream night game is between TTU sitting 5th and they take on Rosedale sitting 8th. Who do you like?
Oh, you have to go with TTU. I think they're just a bit above where Rosedale are at the moment. Yeah,
they are. And Rosedale probably in round 1, they get that draw after being 6 goals down at three-quarter time. They were a little bit lucky, I would have thought, Matty, on the that first game.
Oh, definitely. If you at the start of the day you wouldn't have been happy, but the position they were in at 3/4 time, they would have taken that draw.
Looking forward to covering this game. It's going to be a big night out there, the big ceremony, the ANZAC Day ceremony. That game gets underway at 6:20, and we will go to air from 5:50, and we'll capture all the ceremony on air. So make sure if you can't get to the game, just tune in to the North Gippsland Football Netball League TV YouTube channel. Hayfield sitting on top. This is going to be a cracker. I'm going to nick out and have a look at this one on Saturday, and I'll probably nick out to the next game that we cover that we're going to talk about as well. Hayfield on top, and they take on the third place Yallourn North. This promises to be a beauty matter. Matty, who do you like?
I'm going to go with Yallourn North.
Okay.
I don't know how they're going to topple the big forwards, but they're going to have to be quick on the ground, I think, for to get the run out of defence for Yallourn North, and that could be the difference.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, the forwards, isn't it? I mean, as you say, you've got Brown and Sheen up one end, and then you've got McDonald up the other.
Yeah.
You know, if the midfields, if it's a fast game that like we've seen so far in the first 2 weeks of this competition, if it's a fast game, this could be a goal fest, Matty.
It can. It will be an absolute shootout, and I wouldn't be surprised if these forwards all kick, above 4 goals. It'd be quite easy.
Yeah, I've gone TTU in that first game with you, but I'm going Hayfield in this one at home, but with no real confidence. I mean, as I say, early in the season, you just don't know where you're at. They're just shuffling the deck chairs at the moment. The next game, Kowar sitting 11th. They take on Sale City sitting 7th.
Kowar are a funny side. I haven't got their gauge on them yet either. I think their good's very good, but their bad is a fair way off the mark at the moment. They rely heavily on Keenan Hughes, as we see in the Churchill game. If he kicks straight, they win. It's that simple.
Yep.
We're yet to see Sale City, so I'm going to go Sale City, but no confidence as yet. It's still very early.
Yeah, it is hard to pick a winner at the moment. I'm going to go Sale City. I'll stick with you as well on that one. The next one, Woodside. This is another game that is going to be an absolute beauty. Woodside sitting 4th, taking on Yarram, the second-placed Yarram at Woodside. Absolute rivalries, these two, just up the road from each other. We've seen both these sides early in the season. Who do you like?
Well, I know they don't like each other I know that much. But for me, it depends on the sides. If the Stockdale boys play or do the Vardy boys play? That's the one for me. If the Vardy boys don't play, I don't think Yarram have a chance, to be honest. They straighten them up that much, and that much more relies on Josh Swift. So I'm going to go with Woodside.
Yeah, I'm going Woodside as well. And just before we go into the last game, I've got to say, the conspiracy theorist in me thought during the week that Yarram went to Glengarry wanting the Good Friday game.
Yep.
Did they know that they had the Vardy boys down home for Easter and that they would play on that Good Friday and possibly wanted that game for that day because they wouldn't have been able to play because it was a split round the previous Saturday?
Yeah. It's a smart way if Yarram have done it like that. And that's to trying to lure them in for the rest of the year. Because do they have them for the rest of the year, or are they in and out? Or?
They're in and out. From what I gather, from what I'm told, is that they won't have them every game, and it could quite possibly be single-figure games.
Oh gosh, yeah. So you don't need that. You want a settled side, but and that might be the difference because it's going to be a very tight top 5. It's going to be a good side that's not going to make it, and you don't want that to be the reason for it.
Yeah. Yeah, and the last game for mention is Glengarry sitting 9th. They take on Churchill sitting 6th, and it's over at Glengarry. I'm going Churchill. Who do you like and why?
Yeah, I'm going to go Churchill as well. I think the lack of depth that I seen last week with Glengarry was a bit of a worry for me. As we seen when the coach went into the ruck, they really struggled up centre half forward. But once I think it was Mitchell kicked 4 goals, but then they lacked in defence when he had to go up forward. So they just don't have enough big fellas at the moment. And from what I've seen with Churchill, they were so much better than I expected when we seen them the other week.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting with time off and so forth with sides that have played, like Glengarry played last Friday. Churchill didn't play until the previous Saturday, so they've got that extra week. TTU played round 1, then had the bye.
That feels like ages ago.
Well, it's 20 days from the 5th of April, from their round 1 win over Woodside to the ANZAC Day Friday night game this round. 20 days, Matty. Could that play in the hands of Rosedale? TTU would obviously this week be working on and talking about that they've got to start quick.
Yeah, they want to start quick, but if you remember when we spoke to the coach, Jack Brown, after the game, he was pretty much all over it. He knew that they're going to do some games in between that time, so they're still getting that touch of the fast play and that game style. So I think Jack will have him pretty well prepared.
Yeah, going to be interesting, that one. Hey, just on our tips, Matty, we're both on 7.
We are. You got one back on me.
I got one back on you last week. I got Yarram. Sorry, which one was the one I got last week?
Churchill.
That's right.
Churchill Cower.
Yeah, I went Churchill. That's because of these split rounds. It throws me. It's so long ago. So this week we've gone the same, bar one game again. And it's the Hayfield-Yallourn North game. I've gone Hayfield and you've gone Yallourn North. So we'll keep our eyes peeled on that one. What are you looking forward to in this round, in round 3, out of all the games, Matty, this weekend?
Well, the 2 games that stand out to me is obviously the Hayfield and Yallourn North game. I think that's sort of the heavyweight bout. But I'm looking forward to the game we're doing on Friday night. I think under the lights, ANZAC, it's got a lot of feel to it. I've played in games with ANZAC fields before, and they're great to play in. They're great to be a part of.
Does it give you, like, when they're lining up and there's an anthem and the ANZAC ceremony and so forth, does it I would imagine it, because I've never played in one, I would imagine it gives a real grand final feel.
It does. The last post when they're playing it, especially when it's not recorded, it's someone out there from the RSL playing the last post. It's actually it's amazing. You really enjoy it. It makes you think how lucky we are, and it's a very enjoyable game to be a part of.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it Friday night. The big game is the Sports Stream live stream, ANZAC Day, 6:20 kickoff out there at TTU. And on the Saturday, I'm going to nick out and have a look at, I think this is what I'll do, the first half of Hayfield and Yallourn North, and then I'll quickly drive over to Cower, which is a nice little 12-minute drive.
Nice and close. You should get there between half time.
That's right, and have a look at Cower Sale City. I'd really like to see the Woodside Yarram, but if I left at half time, I'd probably get there at the end of the game. So I'll just Hayfield, Yallourn North and Cower Sale City I'll have a look at. And I also got to mention that Churchill, on their blue ball game round 6, May 17th, they got a big luncheon on. I'm actually hosting that luncheon. I'm really looking forward to this one. It's around about 12:15, 12:20 luncheon with guest speakers, raffles and so forth. And there's special design jumpers made for the day that'll be released at that luncheon. Health checks, they're not prostate ones, so you can line up. I think it's just a simple little prick test. And so there's health checks. There's a urologist and prostate nurses in attendance. Survivors of prostate cancer will be there to have a chat. And goals kicked on the day will be sponsored to raise additional funds. Going to be a massive day, round 6, May 17, prostate cancer game, the blue ball game, Churchill v Rosedale. Contact Mark Ainsworth on 0439 750088 for tickets. And not only tickets, if you just want to donate money and help out, that's how you can get involved. That should be a big day, Matty, and we're out there calling that game, thank God, because it'd be very hard to get from the luncheon anywhere else to call. We're calling that one. And I'm looking forward to that game too, because those two sides are pretty evenly matched right now.
They are. But let's not sort of make a joke about we all have a laugh about the prostate and all that type of thing, but let's get checked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to be 40 and go, I'll go get checked. You don't. It's just a prick test these days. It's just a blood test. So it's very easy to do. And let's get on top of that.
Yeah, and if you haven't had it done, get out to the lunch and donate some money and get your check done on that day. To be brutally honest, I haven't, and I think that's the day that I will get my check. I'll get that done on the day because we all know someone. We're all touched by it somehow. Someone's passed away from prostate cancer, indirectly or directly.
Yeah, that's right. It's a bit of a, with males, we're sort of like we're big and we're tough and we won't get it. It won't happen to us, but at the end of the day, it does. We're not Superman, so get it all checked out.
Looking forward to catching up with you again in the ANZAC Day night game, Matty. It's going to be a beauty out at TTU. Again, thanks for your time today on the Be North Gippy podcast, and I'll catch up with you ANZAC night.
I will see you there.
Would you like to partner the weekly Be North Gippy podcast? For more information on how your business can become a sponsor, simply email brad@sinbradmedia.com.au. Sinbrad Media is local football.
Rosedale play tonight out at Traralgon Ties United in the big ANZAC Day night game, and we thought we'd have a chat to first-year coach out at Rosedale, Michael Driscoll. Welcome, Mick, and good luck tonight.
Yeah, thanks, Brad. I really appreciate having you on.
Hey, how have you found the new role in these early stages at Rosedale?
I've been nothing but happy. Absolutely love the club, the community, and the people, and had all the support a young coach could ask for, I suppose.
So what was the connection to Rosedale? How did you get there? Because I've done a little bit of research on your history and I'm trying to rack my brain. How did you end up at Rosedale?
Yeah, a little bit of a long story. So I played up in Darwin, actually, for 6 months at Palmerston Footy Club, and there was a couple of the Rosedale boys that played up there. So that's where the connection originated from.
There's a few of the boys that get, there's Jamie Yule from Phillip Island. He gets up there. I think Cam Pedersen's been up there at some stage too with Palmerston.
Yep, so I played with Yuley up there the year I was up. I only did the one season up there. And Yuley, he was flying up and playing for us that year. So I met him and had a bit of a chat with him as well. And then, can't say I've met Cam Pedersen though.
That's fantastic. So you also had some time as an academy player with the Giants.
Yeah. That's probably our equivalent of, I suppose, Gippy Power type thing. There's a lot of kids that make their way through the Giants Academy, and spend a bit of time with them.
So you've come into the competition with a really good resume. How have you found the North Gippsland League?
I've only had the 2 games so far, and it's a lot to take. It's obviously country footy. It's country footy at its best. There's big crowds, big supporters, and all that sort of things that we love and expect from country footy. And the brand of football, there's some good players running around in it. Yeah, for sure.
Now, we'll go back to round 1, 6 goals down at 3/4 time against Glengarry. You come back and draw. Was there mixed emotions after that game? Like, did you feel like you got out of jail, or did you think, geez, I'm happy to get the 2 points here?
Yeah, certainly probably a little bit of relief initially. But, truth be told, just a bit disappointed sort of with the way the boys went about it. We spent a full pre-season working towards something, and I suppose credit to Glengarry, they came out all guns a blazing, and there was a little bit of pressure on us, and I suppose the boys just reverted back to some old ways and sort of went away from what we'd learnt and we'd put into practice. So it was probably as you're right, probably lucky to escape with the 2 points in the end, really.
So you then meet the reigning premier, Woodside, in round 2 at home. You were right in that to half-time, but went down by 27 points in the end. Today, you're meeting the runners-up from 2024, TTU, so you should get a good gauge on how you're really going early on in the year, I would say.
Yeah, within reason. Obviously, I suppose the middle pack, from what I can understand from my understanding of North Gippy, the middle pack's going to be sort of where things will sort of settle out, and we won't get too much a gauge of that until we verse a few of those sides. Credit to TTU and to Woodside. Woodside obviously won last year, and TTU have been powerhouse of the competition for the last few years. So look, it's good for us and for myself personally to have a look, here's the standard we're trying to achieve. And we know that's where we've got to get to in the next couple of years' time.
The form of Harper and Sam Fox has been good early for you guys. Is there anyone else that's impressed you so far at Rosedale?
Look, I've been impressed with a lot of our list. We're a very, very young side. Obviously, young Harper, he's very, very athletic. So he's quite versatile for us. He started down back against Glengarry and now is, he's been playing in the ruck and he'll play in the ruck today against TTU. And brother Spencer, he's one of our keys up forward. And he's always looking dangerous, and I'm sure he cops a bit of attention from other sides. Yeah.
So I see Spencer and Harper have both been sort of goal kickers for you in this early stages, and I mean we're only into round 3 now. They've got some good backs at TTU that are in some sort of form, even though they've only played the one game. Zach Kilgour looked really good against Woodside. Guy Sinclair, their coach Jack Brown's pretty solid as well. So you probably want some avenues towards goal.
Yeah, well, look, I suppose the big thing with this young group is, probably for the next 12 months, the scoreboard's somewhat irrelevant to us. We just want to start playing a good process and a good brand of football, and regardless of who we're coming up against, whether it's someone we've never heard of before or Gary Ablett Jr., we're just playing the same process and getting these boys to wrap their head around a new way of playing footy for them.
Great attitude to have, mate, and it can only go well for that young list. Thanks very much for joining us today. All the very best tonight. I know we'll be playing this at half-time, so it's half-time right now, and we'll know where you're at right now. But what we do know, it doesn't matter how far you're down, you're flying home every time.
Yeah, well, with a bit of luck, we continue that. Yeah, tough. Thanks, Brad.
Well, that's all we have time for this week in the Be North Gippy podcast for round 3. Don't forget, tonight, TTU take on Rosedale in the Sportstream live stream. A match of the round gets underway at 6:20. The broadcast gets underway about 5:50. And tomorrow, Hayfield take on Yallourn North. Cowar at home to Sale City. Woodside at home to Yarram. And Churchill make the trip out to Glengarry. And Gormandale have the bye. We'll talk to you next week.